We're shedding our masks and breaking down walls. Hell, we may even drop our drawers. That's right. We're going commando with Angela and Dana. Hi, my name is Dana Sardano, and this is Angela DiMarco, and we are going commando. Going Commando is a little show that we put together because we understand the importance of authenticity, and we understand that being who we are and embracing that and embodying it and sharing it with the world is so important for all of us. And we're hoping by doing it, we encourage you to do the same. So with that said, good morning, Angela. How you doing today?
Oh, good morning. Best I can be, holding the pieces together with some glue and stuff. But yeah, one thing too is when we talk about being authentic, it's we're really like this is who we are. You know what I mean? Like this is the stuff that we're going through in real time, and we're honestly, truthfully ourselves, and want to show everybody that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be open
Yeah.
and honest with the people that you trust, of course. We're just putting it on the internet for all to see, but you don't have to do what we do. But when you are able to drop your walls and shed your masks and all that shit that we say in the beginning of this show, it really opens you up to opportunities to grow and to expand and to be seen and to be heard. Because if you don't tell
Yeah.
people how you're feeling, who's going to know?
Who's
Right.
going to know? Yeah. You know, for those of you who are like just tuning in and don't really see our shenanigans on social media, Angela and I were able to spend Thanksgiving together. And again, if you're new to the party, Angela's in the process of a divorce. So she and her daughter came to, okay, let me just backtrack. I'm in Florida. Angela's in New York. My family flew up to Rhode Island to spend Thanksgiving with my in-laws, and Angela drove over, took the ferry, but drove over to Rhode Island from Long Island and spent it with us. It was wonderful. When we were there, I was having an experience. I'm going to be vague about it, but feel free to read between the lines. But I was having an experience with one of my in-laws that I felt myself getting irritated quite a bit. And what I realized was in my relationship with this person, and I've been with Rob over 10 years now. We'll be married 10 years in June. I've never felt seen. I've never felt heard. I've never felt appreciated, valued, understood. If anything, I'm usually not criticized, but given like unsolicited advice, and about parenting my children, even perhaps. We'll just leave it at there. And the thing is I know it's not me because I know that this person doesn't see, hear, understand, appreciate really anybody. It's really a little bit of a myopic view they've got. And what I left, my takeaway was I could be the bigger person and have compassion and be like, well, this person can't see, this person doesn't understand. And I do that to the best of my ability. But the reality is, if you want to be seen, if you want to be valued and appreciated, understood, all of that, you have to be willing to do so with others. People can't see you if A, you're not open in your heart and you're not just with yourself. And if you don't have the willingness to see others, and even to go one step further, get a little esoteric with it, it's really when we are able to see ourselves, be open and forgiving and loving with ourselves, and then our heart opens and our awareness opens, expands, right? We then can really truly understand all the aspects of ourselves, embrace them, even the shadow, embrace the aspects of ourselves. And then it broadens our lens to see that in others. And when we see that in others and we connect with the right people, then they could see it with us. It was really an eye-opening experience. That and the fact that Angela and I got to act like, total dorks for about 24 hours. We had a
Yeah.
sleepover. Rob said to me last night when he was putting me to bed, like I'm a child, he's like, oh, I didn't get to tucky Angela because he tucked me. He's like, oh, I didn't tucky Angela. And then I was like, oh, and he goes, Dana, that would have been weird, right? He's like, that was never going to happen.
I think it would have been a little weird.
A little weird, a little
Definitely
weird. Yeah.
But I loved our talk around the table. It was so cool just to like sit with you two and to help me get through all this stuff and talk about your stuff. It was just so nice. It was so nice to do
Yeah, it
something
was.
new. You
It
know,
was.
it was a rough Thanksgiving because this is the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
You
But I'll
know,
tell you, that's what healthy relationships look like.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And the fact I got to sit back and watch Rob throw out his little two censors, you know what I mean? Yeah, if you pick a pile of shit and shove it up a bull's ass, it's still a pile of shit. Whatever the hell he was saying,
He had
he's
some
so
good ones.
wise. He's so wise.
He did have some really, really good ones.
Yeah, no, he's such a good man. And
Yeah,
the
he
fact
is.
that you got to have this conversation with him was
Hmm.
really, really special because you got to see it's possible. It's
Yeah.
possible to be able to reason with, those of the opposite sex.
Yes. Okay. All
Okay.
right. So let's get to why we're here. So we are in the season for gratitude, and we are discussing the concepts in Dana's book, Beyond the 10 Decoding the Woo Woo. It's going to show up on screen somewhere. And it's been really cool because Dana really has this beautiful way of making the mystical, showing how the mystical is very practical and how we can apply these things, or we do apply these things in our lives without even realizing it. So it's really just decoding the woo woo. And I have no idea what we're talking about this week. So fill us in, Dane.
So today we're going to talk about balance.
Ooh,
Ooh.
that's a good one.
Yeah, balance is a good one because it's really crucial to I say this about everyone. It's the most important of all of them.
I love all my children.
Right. But it's easy to overlook, the importance of balance, the balance within ourselves, balance within, the world around us. I just want to open with my feelings on duality, right? The two extremes. But it's very, very easy for us to judge, really, to put labels on everything. This is good, this is bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do it most of the time, we do that. We decide if we like something, if we don't like it, but we really are saying it's good or it's bad. And within ourselves, we do that as well. Oh, this behavior is good, this behavior is bad. But really, we are all individual aspects that create a soul. All these different personality traits, all these things about us are different aspects. And they're not good or bad. They're either in balance or they're out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
And we spend our lives trying to reconcile these imbalances. And when we do so, then we become aligned. So that's my thoughts on balance. What you got to say, Mama?
That's very heady in a way.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to open with heady and
I mean,
see where we take it.
it is Monday morning, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
I think I've already finished my coffee, and I'm a little still.
Can I offer a specific? Can I offer a specific to help it along?
Can we do the ice cream analogy? Isn't that what you do in the book? The chocolate and vanilla.
Yeah, but all right, I could go. Oh my God, I have a choice. I could go this way. I don't know what to do.
Not one is right or wrong, Dave.
All right, so let's talk about judgment then, because that's what the ice cream is all about, right?
Yeah.
When somebody offers me ice cream and they say, "Hey, do you want chocolate or vanilla?" Oh well, chocolate or vanilla. But if I don't like vanilla, I'm just gonna be like, okay, I don't want vanilla, and I'm gonna go for the chocolate, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean the vanilla is bad. It doesn't mean the vanilla, I say in the book, you know what I mean? That I should go off about, vanilla on social media and I should call vanilla evil, vanilla sucks and trash vanilla. It's just, I just prefer chocolate. Chocolate is better for me. So that when we think like that, and that's really more about the judgment of it, but I just want to talk about the aspects, the heady part that you were talking about. So let's just use a personality trait, or I'd say an aspect of my soul, right? But let's just talk about confidence, right? Mm-hmm. Confidence. So confidence is, it's in the middle. If I am overconfident, right? If I lack security, if I'm insecure, it comes across as overconfidence, comes across as arrogance. Mm-hmm. If my confidence wavers and I have a different personality type, I may become, introverted and quiet and insecure like that, want to disappear into the woodwork. So my confidence out of balance could either look like this, or it could look like arrogance, belligerence, that sort of thing. It's not bad that it's belligerent. It's not evil. right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. I'm not judging it. It's not bad that it's super insecure and trying to hide under the floorboards, as you put it when you were talking in our
Mm-hmm.
last episode. It's just out of balance. But what we do when we have an aspect of ourselves that's out of balance, talk about becoming entrenched in our emotions, we become shameful, entrenched in it, right? I'm shameful that I'm going to use how it would look for me, that I have that I act like I know more than I know, and then I try to make other people look bad because it makes me look better. All those insecurities that create that overconfidence or that arrogance.
Yeah.
And instead of just saying I'm acting this way because my confidence is wavering, it's out of balance, what can I do to restore that balance and leave the whole shame component out of it?
Mm-hmm.
Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's difficult when you are in it, right? Of
Yeah.
course, like you don't know what you don't have. I guess the first step truly is creating the awareness,
Yeah.
right? So
100%.
so so we create the awareness of a behavior that we have that we're not happy with, or it's causing shame, it's causing grief because we act a certain way. Like my toddler, not my he's not a toddler anymore. Geez, Christian fives. What do you call him? My 5-year-old.
Yeah.
He'll I see him, he gets really, really mad and he'll hit or he'll swing to hit, and then I see him feel bad.
Yeah.
So he has shame, but it's really about why is he getting so worked up to that point of no return.
Yes.
But
Teaching a
he can't
balance.
go through that process because he's 5. But we all do the same thing. Like we lash out, we get angry, we say things, and then we feel bad that we said things. And it's like, okay, so why did I lash out? Okay, because I'm feeling insecure. I'm feeling like I'm fighting for my needs. Like we have to get to the root cause. And that's
Root
how
cause, root cause, root
and
cause.
that's how we achieve balance in those things. So where we have behaviors that we're not happy with ourselves, it's not about other people, but where we do things or feel things or whatever it might be that are on the fear end of the spectrum, shame, guilt, just anger, all those things that are negative. If those things if we're experiencing those emotions, those are triggers for the things that are not in balance. Is that fair to say?
100%. 100%.
Sweet.
Yeah, and there's so many components to this whole idea of balance, right? So the first thing is the imbalance in ourselves. If something in our existence in our is not serving us, again, like you said, we don't like it, it doesn't feel good or whatever it is, rather than looking outward, where am I imbalanced that this is happening? Or where am I imbalanced that I am not able to cope with what is happening?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
you're in balance, then the world can crash and burn around you and you can cope with it in a healthy way. Doesn't mean you like it. Doesn't mean that you don't have compassion. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean any of those things, but you are balanced. So I want everybody, I'm going to do a little homework assignment. So
Oh,
I want
okay, teacher.
everybody, I want, and if if you're actually watching this, no, but if you could take a second, maybe pause this or something, get a pen or a pencil, a piece of paper. But if not, we could still do this. I want you to think about 3 aspects of yourself that are imbalanced. Just again, or just start coming up with aspects. And just to help, just to be clear, like I would be like, okay, what's an aspect of myself? My sense of humor, my resilience, we'll just use confidence,
Mhm.
right? My compassion.
Mhm.
So was that 4? What did I say? Take 3, whatever it is. These are aspects of myself, and I ask myself on a scale from 1 to 5, where am I in balance? That could change from day to day. You know what I mean? But where am I in balance? Oh, well, confidence, I'm at like a 7. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. But like, where am I in balance? And then if I'm like, oh, I could really have a little bit more compassion, then what can I do?
Mm.
When I work with clients, sometimes what I'll have them do is have a day where you have to do, like, if you were out of balance with compassion or thoughtfulness, then try to come up with 5 things that day and practice it. It's a muscle. We were just talking about muscle memory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if
Yeah.
we're not, like you say, awareness, if we're not looking at it, then we're not even going to know to build that muscle.
Right. And then when you do have that awareness, And you start to see like how good it feels to start to balance that thing. Let's say it's compassion. For me, it's my worthiness, right? My worthiness to have my needs met, and my communication of my needs and those kinds of things. That's what I'm really working on right now, because that's what's really difficult for me, right?
Yep.
So, but when I do that and I stand my ground and I set my boundaries, I feel a little bit safer. I feel a little bit more secure.
Empowered even.
Empowered. Yes. Yes. And it sucks and it hurts to use muscles that we're not used to using. I went to Maddie and I went to a free class at F45, which is like an Orange Theory thing. And it was awesome. But I haven't worked out like that in 3-4 years. And the next day we're both like, I'm like, I can't lift my arm. I can't, but it felt good.
Yeah,
Like I was
yeah,
using the
yeah.
muscles. Yes.
And
It felt really
accomplished.
good. Yes. Yeah. So there's a, when you're talking before about how the world could be crashing and burning, there was a meme that I just saw. I don't know if I sent it to you, because that's all we do is send reels to each other on Instagram.
Yeah.
But it was this little girl and she's dancing like this, she's all cute, she's all like la la la, and there's like fires and raging behind her, and it's like, this is what, when everything's crashing and burning, but you're cool.
Right, right. And,
you know
it's funny
yeah.
that you say that, because again, that goes back to the balance. To have your head completely in the sand is not good either. You're imbalanced. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So there's a nice fine line, or balance. I keep using the word balanced drink, but between awareness and becoming sucked in. You know what I mean? Be
Yeah.
aware of what's going on around you, but also be grounded in a way that you're not going to be sucked into something that doesn't suit you, that doesn't serve you, right?
Right.
So we're
Yeah.
talking about the balance of the individual. Then you go look at the balance globally, the balance in the macrocosm out in the world. So it's easy to look at things that we don't like and call them bad.
Mhm.
Some things feel really bad. I mean, murders and rapes, like it's bad, right?
Yeah.
But really, it's all manifestations of energetic imbalance.
Mhm.
So when you have, this is so important. This is so important. Listen up, folks. This is really important. I'll put on my leathery voice for you, or the velvety. Either way, sexy.
Velvety, I think
Okay,
velvety.
it's not leathery. Oh God, I was so close to being normal. But think about this for a
I'm
second.
laughing because this is what's important, right?
Yeah.
This is what's important for everyone to listen to. Okay,
Okay,
sorry.
yeah, okay. So this is really, really important. Listen up. The shit that's going down in the world that we don't like. I'm not going to name all of it. Just look outside your window, right? The shit that's going down in the world is uncomfortable for all of us. It is clearly so imbalanced. But what we tend to do as human beings is we focus on the shit that we don't like, and we get angry at the shit that we don't like, and we even yell about the shit that we don't like, and we're really fighting against the shit that we don't like, creating an even greater imbalance, because that's where our focus is. The only way to balance that kind of imbalance is to balance it with the complete opposite of what that is: compassion, love, joy. That's how you battle, so to speak, that kind of imbalance, by bringing balance back. You
Mm,
have darkness, you balance it with light, right?
yeah.
You
Yeah.
have a fat kid on a seesaw, you need to throw a couple little skinny ones on the other end to create balance.
Confucius says.
Confucius says, but think about that. Think about, we do it all the time. We constantly focus on what we don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Well, then go away from that.
Yeah. If that's where your attention goes, that's where the energy
That's what they
goes.
say. The energy flows where your
Where
attention
the energy
goes.
goes. Yeah, yeah. But no, it's true. And also, so for me, I have like a vague awareness of what's going on in the world. And that's on purpose. It's not to be ignorant, it's not to be rude. It is just that I know I personally become very entrenched in it. And just because it hurts me so much to see
Yeah.
suffering. I can't. Even seeing a little kid get bullied on a Sunday movie special, whatever, I can't. It breaks my heart. So I purposely have to stay away from the details, and even the stories. I can't,
Can't.
because if I do, then I'm not helping anybody, because I'm just adding my energy to that whole thing. So I choose to focus on the love of my kids, my beautiful home, my life, like all the good things that are going on in my world, the people in my life, the work that we do. Um, I just I'm just really like shining a light on all that is good, because that's what I could do to help. Because I can't go
Yeah.
to a war zone. I can't. I'm not a fighter. I'm not a prick. A petitioner or whatever. Um, but I just have that awareness about myself. So turning off the news for me was like one of the best things in the world. And I always think about like when Dave was like, "Oh, how's Dana doing with the hurricane in Florida?" I'm like, "There's a hurricane in Florida?" Like that's that's how oblivious I am. But again, it's not to be disrespectful or to not empathize with everybody. I just know that I can't. So it's also knowing like where our boundaries are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're involved in a situation that's personally affecting you, and it's really really difficult, of course, because it's in your face, it's the one thing that you can do is try to help by seeing the good, try to help by seeing the light, try to help just by being present, to balance that, whatever the person's going through. Let's say you have a family member who's dealing with something, and you're not, it's like a third, Kevin Bacon situation, and you can be this comfort and support for that person, as opposed to the sounding board and getting them worked up, because then you're just adding to that fat kid on the side of this saw, and you're not putting light kids, little skinny kids on the other side. So yeah, so I mean, I see that going on, all the time. It's just like, people just supporting that, and getting angry, and this is what's going to happen, and it's got to be this way. And then it's like, no, support that person with love and say, I'm sorry you're going through what you're going through, and how can I help?
How can I
You
help?
know?
Yeah. Yeah. How can I help is a big one. And, I remember one of the chants that I had with when I taught freshmen and sophomores, like everybody wants to complain, I'm like, we are problem solvers. I was always like, what are we? And they're like, we're problem solvers. I'm like, yeah, we're problem solvers. We could all focus on the problem all day long. It's fun to dish. I'm not going to lie, but you're keeping yourself in this energetic state that is, it's not comfortable for anyone, for
Yeah.
anybody around you, for yourself, for any of it. So let's take, we don't want to have toxic positivity where everything's okay. Everything's okay. You know what I mean? Like have a good cry or yell or be angry. Allow yourself to feel, but don't live there. Just let it
Yeah.
go. Let it go.
Yeah.
Bring yourself always back to balance.
Yeah.
Our emotions, there's a reason for our emotions. They assist us in understanding what's good for us, what's not good for us, right? Or what's not good for us to lead us to what's good for us. So
Mm-hmm.
feel the emotions, figure out what they're telling you, get them up and out or down and out, depending on how you process your emotions.
Depending on what chakra is screwed up.
But you release, and then you're able to move on and again restore balance.
Yeah.
It really is the yin and the yang. It's a perfect
Yes.
example.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The darkness
Yeah.
gets the light with a little bit in each.
Yes, yes. And if your emotions aren't getting to you, Dana's got a whole thing about physical guidance system, but like if like the release we were just joking
Yeah.
about, like you're gonna like, like have diarrhea if you're having some like issues in your root chakra area, or tears. For me, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff up here. You know what I mean? Just a lot of emotional, using my voice and communicating and listening and big picture, and it's very emotional. So I'm crying my eyes out, and then I feel better. I go take a breath, and I'm like, whew.
Yeah.
It's a release. And if I don't allow myself to cry, which is something I'm working on, because I never really did, because when I was little I got the don't cry, you know.
And think
um
about how that served you. It
it,
hasn't.
it hasn't, because it keeps it in here that I'm not being authentic. It's like, how's everything? I'm fine, everything's fine, just going through a divorce,
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
But it's hard. And if you're physically, if you feel like an anger and you need to release, and you feel that thing, let it release in a healthy way, and then sit and think about where it came from. what it is. Like, what is the actual thing behind that thing? Because that's the only way you can truly release it, is to acknowledge what it is,
Acknowledge
you
it.
know?
That's the shadows, man. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge it and vaya con Dios. You know what I mean? Just let it go.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. You don't have to go home.
Oh, this is good. This is good. Helpful for me. Thank you.
Good. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad you look a little lighter.
Yeah, yeah, can't fake it. It's heavy, but
Yeah.
we're getting through it.
It's amazing how heavy we don't even realize we feel when our lives are out of balance. I mean, just to stick with the theme here, you know what I mean? It's amazing. We don't even realize it because it's like the frog in the pot. Sometimes it happens so gradually, or we've been like this our whole lives. Or our houses growing up. I
Mm,
didn't realize until I was an adult that every time I was in my mother's presence or in my mother's home, like when I was a young adult going back to visit, I just always felt like guilt. Like I always felt like guilt and shame. I didn't know what it was, but I just was always like I always felt like I was doing something wrong. I didn't even
yeah,
realize it, but it was just that I was just picking up what was in the household. And what happens is we feel heavy, we feel tired, we feel stressed. So what do? We go right to the numbing agents. Oh, I'm tired. I need a cup of coffee. Instead of
yeah,
going outside and breathing in some fresh air, taking a walk in nature. It
yeah,
sounds really like tree hugging, hippity dippity woo woo, but it really, when I was in Rhode Island, I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of heavy energy there. There's a lot of
yeah,
heavy energy there. I
yeah.
made a point to walk every day because I was
Not
out.
on Friday.
No, not on
Oh my
Friday.
God. It was so funny when you called, you left me a voice message and it was the first day that you were there. No, you're in Florida,
In
right? So now you're in Rhode
Florida.
Island in the middle of November. And you're like, it's fucking 23 degrees. I just yelled at some kid wearing bike shorts at the bus stop.
There was
I
this
was like,
kid
oh,
standing on the corner, a high school student who was wearing the basketball shorts.
it's
He
a
had a
big deal up
jacket on,
there.
and I was like I was
That's
like, I got like wet snot or frozen snot, and I looked at him, and I was like, "What are you?" Like I couldn't even I channeled my father. I turned into like quirky old lady. I was like, "What are you doing? Why are you wearing?" I was like, "You're gonna catch a cold." Like it got weird. It got
I know
weird.
that's what the boys do here. It's really
But
funny.
I'll tell you,
But
it was different. I had to leave the house, be outside, be with
yeah,
nature, essentially. You know what I mean? It was
yeah,
beautiful, beautiful in Rhode Island. It was a
yeah,
hilly neighborhood, and the
yeah.
foliage is completely different than when it was so beautiful. And it just kind of was able to shake it off. Something that simple is helpful.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have that every time, my husband walks in the door. I just shut down. I shut down and I can't help it. I can't change it. It's just the reaction because it's been living this way for 8 years. I didn't realize it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when he's not around, I'm goofy with the kids and I feel better and whatever. But there's such like the minute he comes in, and it's not his fault. It's just how I assimilated to the situation where I
yeah,
couldn't be myself. Don't say
yeah,
things, don't do things, whatever.
yeah,
And I feel it, and that's why we have to change this because I can't exist like that anymore.
yeah, yeah. And so what you're doing, think about how many people in your situation would grab a drink. For me,
Mm,
eat a cookie, take a pill. Oh, I think I'm depressed. I remember when right after I had Yaya, I had already known I was pregnant with Yaya. This is a story for another day, but I was pregnant with Yaya, and I knew that I would be ending it with her and Nala's father very, very quickly. It was a little bit of a severe situation. But I was like, no, I'll stay until they're in kindergarten. So they have a father figure and I'll stay. And after I had Yaya, I had her in January. So from January to Mother's Day, I literally cried every day because my body was telling me that I was not doing right by myself by staying. And I went to my gynecologist because obviously I just had a baby. It wasn't like I'm depressed. I went to the gynecologist, but she was like, she started giving me pills for postpartum.
mm,
And I knew then, I'm like, I'm not taking this crap. I understood that I was contradicting what my soul knew was the right thing to do. But what we
yes.
tend to do, and I'm not saying I've never done it because I spent my whole 30s on drugs, and 20s, somewhere in my teens. So I'm not saying I don't understand. but we
Yeah.
tend to numb these things, avoid, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, and we've talked about this, the selfies or the social media or the gambling or the drinking or the food or the shopping or whatever it is to numb or to avoid how we're feeling. And when we're ready just to be honest with ourselves and say, I deserve more than this, and then take the steps to figure out how to overcome, be coming back in balance without medicating ourselves in whatever way that looks like, we're better off for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
And just because Angela will probably say this, but I'm going to say it. I do this for a living. Like, this is what I do. I assist people to become unstuck or to overcome these challenges. So please feel free to contact me or go to my website, ubuntufishgallery.com. You can get a little bit more insight into what I do and how I do it. But I'm here to help.
Yeah, man. I wouldn't be here like this without you. So thank you.
Thank you for talking like a robot.
I don't know. I think I'm ready to wrap this thing up. Let's get that wheel.
Oh, the wheel. Okay,
The wheel.
so for those of you who didn't watch the last episode, we got a sign-off wheel because we could never not agree, but we could never figure out the perfect sign-off. And we have new categories. Oh, let me do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to look at it first and then I'll show you. So we have, of course, Stay Fresh cheese bags. Bye-bye and bye. Slow-mo goodbye that we picked up when we were in Rhode Island. Later alligator in a wild crocodile. Don't be a dildo. Dropped call and smash that bell for the sake of humanity. And I have dealer's choice in here because we have an empty slot that feel free. We're listening to suggestions, but for now, we'll just do whatever we want until you tell us otherwise. You ready?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Let's do this.
I gotta do it this way because I'm left-handed.
Drop call.
Yeah, drop call. You ready?
Yeah.
Don't be a dildo.
Bye.
Everyone has a story. I have a story. You have a story. We all have a story. As I see it, you have 3 choices. Allow your story to define you, use it to excuse you, or utilize it as a method to empower you. It's your life. You have the power. You choose. Rewrite your story on finduniquelyyou.com.